Hi guys, welcome to You Are Unlocked, a place for all your holistic health and wellness needs to help you unlock a happier life. My name's Yuna and I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, I'm going to tell you 10 tips to help you make friends with ease. I'll give you 3 text message and conversation templates that you can use when you're trying to end a friendship with someone that you don't want to be friends with anymore. I'll tell you 3 types of activities that you can try to meet new people. I'll give you 1 tip that will make sure that people always enjoy themselves when they come around your house. And finally, I'll give you 3 questions that you can ask yourself to get clear about whether you want to be friends with someone new that you meet. So stick around because there's a whole lot that you don't want to miss in this video. You can save the video too if you want to come back to it and do different steps as and when you're ready to in your life. So let's get into it. As we talked about in the video 2 weeks ago, you want to let go of people that you're no longer aligned with. That way, you'll have more energy to make new friends. You'll have freedom to explore new things that you like and that you're discovering because you won't be worried about what people in your life think about it. And also, you'll have the ability and capacity to create bigger goals for yourself in life because you won't be constricted by the mindsets of people that you aren't aligned with anymore when you want to go and do different things with your life. Since no one wants to feel stagnant in life, but I found it really hard to let go of friendships too because I was thinking, wow, I've spent all of this time, effort, and energy to build up these friendships and build the memories that we have together. Am I supposed to just let that go? But then I realized this is stopping my growth, because there's no space in my life for me to meet new people, have new experiences, go new places, and explore new things. That's what happens when you stay friends with people that you're no longer aligned with. And no one wants to feel stagnant, because when we as humans feel like we're not growing and evolving, that's when we start to feel depressed. Because as the saying goes, you are the company you keep. So if your company are slowing you down, it's time to let them go. When I did this and I let go of friendships in my life, I started having the craziest things happen to me. I started meeting new people, having crazy coincidences happen with me where I would meet people successful in the direction that I want to go in and started learning from them. And the same can happen for you. You'll start discovering your passion, new ideas, new things that you can do, and your life will become so exciting. So here are 3 conversation starters and text messages that you can use to end a friendship with someone who you no longer want to be friends with or that you'd like to move on from, and why they work. They're for 3 different scenarios. Ending a friendship with someone who you had a nice time with, ending a friendship for someone who you had an unhelpful connection with or you felt like it was toxic, and finally ending a friendship with someone who was just an acquaintance. Here's the message for scenario 1. Ending a friendship with someone who you had a nice, pleasant connection with. You can say, "Hi, I know this may seem out of the blue and I appreciate you may need some time to think. I've been reflecting on my life and what I want is changing. Because of that, I also realize I'd like to change some of the connections in my life too. That'll give me more mental and emotional room to explore the new aspects of myself that I'm discovering. One of the connections that was beautiful in the past season of my life is ours. We shared great memories and I appreciate all the ways you poured out to me. Our friendship really did shape a great part of my journey. I hope it did the same for you. But I'd like to move on from our connection going forward and no longer keep in contact. Thank you for what we shared together." Here's why this works. Firstly, you want to acknowledge that they may have mixed emotions about your message, and this validates them because usually that's a normal response when you're ending a friendship. This also makes them less likely to be defensive and read your message with more clarity. Then in the next part, you want to take responsibility for the decision you've made and state the fact that it's a result of your own reflection. This helps the other person know that you're not blaming them, which also helps things end more peacefully. Yet in the next part, you want to be honest about the fact that you're changing and what you want is different and your life may look a little bit different afterwards. The reason you want to do that is because if you start exploring new things, trying new things, and you become a little bit different from what you've been previously, they'll be less shocked and you won't have a fear of them judging you as much because you already pre-warned them that you're going in a different direction. The next part of the message is a bit of gratitude, and this is great because it shows that you appreciate the time, the energy, the effort, and the hours that you spent in the friendship that you've built up together. This isn't just good for them, it's also good for you. It's showing your self-appreciation for the connection that you built with them, as well as them appreciation for the time and attention that they gave you in their life. But at the very end of the message, you want to be clear and state the fact that you don't want further contact going forward so that there's no confusion and they know where you stand. Great, on to the next scenario, which is ending an unhelpful connection or a connection where you feel like it's quite toxic for your life. In this case, you can say, "Hi, I've been reflecting on my life and what I want from life is changing. Because of that, I realize I'd like to change some connections in my life too. That'll give me mental and emotional room to explore the new aspects of myself that I'm discovering. One of the connections I'd like to change is ours. After our interactions, I feel..." Insert your emotions. "I acknowledge that these emotions are mine and I'm responsible for how I feel. The best way for me to navigate that is to no longer be in contact with you. Going forward, I won't be contacting you. I ask that you respect my wishes and don't contact me either. I don't want to discuss this further. Thank you." With this one, starting off by stating that this is happening because you've reflected on your life shows that you have control over who is and isn't allowed into your sphere. This is really important for people who are manipulative because you're giving them a sign and a signal that they no longer have access to cross any boundaries with you. Then in the next part, it's actually really important not to shy away and dismiss your emotions. State how you feel. This is because you want your inner voice to feel heard. That way, it will make it easier not to go back and contact them at a later date, trying to express how you feel when you realize that you've stuffed your emotions. The next statement is really important because it's where you take control over your emotions. When you take responsibility for your own emotions, you have control over who affects you. You don't want the other person to have the power to make you feel good or make you feel bad or make you feel as if you have to stay in that connection. That's why you have to own your emotions and take responsibility. That way they can't force you to stay in the connection emotionally. Finally, in the end, make your intention really clear that you don't want contact going forward. Usually with toxic connections, the other person will want a back and forth that you two go on. But if you've had experience with this in the past, you know that closure doesn't exist. One question will lead to another, which will lead to another, and then you'll have more questions than you started off with. So the best thing to do is just let it go, let it be, make a clear statement that you don't want contact, and move on. And finally, scenario 3 is ending an acquaintance connection. This is just someone who you know casually and you haven't really formed a deep connection with them. In this case, you can say, "Hi, it was great meeting you at insert location and spending time with you. I really like how you state a compliment about them. I can definitely see you state a compliment about their potential. Moving forward, I'm going to explore a few things in and then state what you are interested in, and I'll be focusing on that. So I won't be able to keep in contact. But I wish you all the best. Thank you for the wonderful experience." This one is more simple because there probably wasn't a deep connection, so it makes it easier to let go of. Firstly, you want to acknowledge that they did have an impact with you. This helps you be in good standing with them, and it's also helpful because then they realize that they have poured out time and attention to you, which you recognize. Then you want to give them a couple of compliments because it helps them feel appreciated. That's really good for ending things nicely. But in the next part, you want to be really clear about your expectations going forward so they know that you're not going to stay in contact with them and they shouldn't expect that. Yet end it on a good note with something nice, so that if you do end up reconnecting in the future, things are nice, peaceful, and they have a happy memory of you. So those are the text message and conversation templates that you can use if you're trying to move on from a friendship. There's also a guide in the description, and there's also a template for what to say if someone reacts badly. Now, onto 3 types of activities that you can do to meet new people. A Wonderwork study actually showed that people who have hobbies are 24% more satisfied with their life and 85% happier. In fact, in the UK, 93% of people actively do a hobby. It just shows that hobbies are really important for our well-being and for making us feel happier. And on top of that, it's a great way to meet new people. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to feel like your life just consists of waking up, going to school, going to work, and then repeating it. Because that ends up being so boring and so mundane. You want something to do outside of your professional life where you can get more creative and have some fun, because you're worth way more than just a paycheck or a grade. So here are 3 major categories of activities and hobbies that you can join to meet new people. Firstly, a discussion group. These are great because you get to pick a topic that you're actually interested in, and if you're more interested in it, not only will you be more likely to get along with the people that go, but also you'll easily find things to talk about and to connect on, so it makes it a lot easier to socialize with the people who are there. These are great because there's also so many online. So if you can't find any near around you, you can find them online and meet people that way that you can socialize with. Personally, I didn't want to join a discussion group because I felt like it just wasn't necessary in my life, and I was pretty happy with my own routine and the people who I currently knew. But then one day I got invited to attend a spoken word open mic night. This is where people come and they perform poetry pieces that they've written, and some people also did some music. When I was there, it literally sparked a passion for poetry in me that I never knew I had. I was captivated by the words that people were speaking and their expressions. I went home, and that night I literally started writing poetry. Fast forward, I went on to write so many poetry pieces, learn to express myself through written word, and then I started performing at poetry events, online events, and to people just in my life. And that was all sparked by me going to an event of a group of people who were sharing about a topic that they were all interested in. So you never know what passion is lying inside of you that is waiting to be woken up by connecting with people in a group, and then it sparks something that you never knew you loved. So join a group and find out new things about yourself, as well as meeting new people to become friends with. Examples of groups that you can join are business groups, gaming groups, because a lot of people are into gaming and there's so many online, book clubs with people who talk about genres that you love, or music, open mic, and poetry night. The next type of activity that you can try is craft groups. These are really great for if you're struggling with low self-esteem, low confidence, stress, or you're not quite sure how to express yourself. That's because art helps you to let go of having to do things the right way and just being able to play with expression. People in these types of groups are also more open to making friends. Types of art and craft groups are painting, stone carving, pottery, and sewing. Especially in this day and age, people are also doing online versions where you do the art at home, but you're on an online meeting with other people also doing the art in their location. Typically, you're making the same thing, so it's a great way to connect with people who are far distances. And finally, the third type of activity that you can do to meet new people is a sport. So sport isn't just good for your physical health, but that sense of having teammates is so good for meeting new people. It helps boost your self-esteem and it improves your social skills, because when you're in a team, you constantly have to talk. There are so many sports that you can join, but worldwide, the top sports are soccer, or if you're in Europe, we call it football, hockey, cricket, and tennis. The guide in the description also has a longer list of different activities that you can join and search terms that you can search online if you're looking for activities near you, if that would be helpful. Now, onto the tip of what to do when people come to your house to make sure that you both have a good time. As we mentioned in the video 2 weeks ago, when you go to these hobbies and activities, you'll naturally meet new people, and some of those people you may want to be friends with. And the best way to connect with them is to invite them to your house for a meal. Even celebrities like Jennifer Aniston host dinner parties at her house every week with Jason Bateman, Jimmy Kimmel, and their families, because it's a great way to connect with people. Think about it. When do you have the deepest connections and conversations with people? When you're out and about doing an activity and you're distracted, or when you're at your house, you're face to face with them, you're having a meal and you're talking about a topic. It's the second one, right? So here are some tips to have a better time with people when they come to your house for a meal. Firstly, please do not give them just snacks. They did not come all the way to your house for just a snack. Even if they say they don't mind, trust me, they mind. Because nobody has a great time when they're on an empty stomach. Everybody socializes better when they're having food together. That's why workplaces usually take their work to restaurants when they're having a social event or somewhere where there's food being served, because people get more relaxed, they like to talk more, and they feel like they're having more of a good time. But I get it, cooking can be stressful. One funny thing about me is that I actually don't absolutely love cooking. It actually causes me quite a bit of stress. But I do it all the time because although I don't really enjoy cooking too much, I like good tasting food. And so I cook and I put effort because I'm trying to enjoy the experience of having a meal afterwards. Yet with cooking, you have to think about timing, you have to think about keeping the food warm, the ingredient list, and making sure that the person likes it, etc., etc. So I can understand if you feel like, cooking isn't what I want to do for this person who I barely know. But trust me, you're going to have a better time if you do. And on that note, just keep it simple. You don't need to make an extravagant dish that causes you to take lots of hours in trying to get it prepared. Maybe make something just like pasta that you can put together quite easily and then you both enjoy it. And if you're not too sure if they're going to like it, just send them a message and ask, hey, what do you like to eat? Then pick something that you both like, because at the end of the day, you both want to have a good time eating it. Worst case scenario, just buy some takeaway, but don't buy like chicken and chips or something like that. Buy something that's a proper meal so that you feel like you're actually having an experience with them. When people are coming to your house and you're trying to form a connection and a friendship with someone, you want to create a sense of an experience. So pick a takeaway place that has an actual proper dish and a meal that isn't fast food. The guide in the description has 5 simple meat dishes and 5 simple vegetarian dishes that you can make if you're really struggling to think of what to make someone when they're coming round your house. Just make it, plate it nicely, and trust me, you'll have so much of a better time. And my final tips are 3 journal prompts that you can use to help you get clarity about whether you want to be friends with someone new. Journaling is really important because it helps you understand your values and your feelings and whether you want to go forward with something. In fact, a study done by Habitua found that 77% of people who journal experience self-discovery, understand their values and their feelings more. Plus, journaling will actually help you get a lot more efficient with finding the people that you truly want to be friends with, because you'll understand what you want and then you don't have to start from zero with every single new person that you meet. So here are 3 journal prompts that you can use when you're deciding if you want to be friends with someone new. Firstly, what did you like about the person when you first met them that made you invite them around your house? This will help you understand what you're attracted to in people and what personality traits you'd like in friends. Secondly, what's one thing you have in common with this person? What's one difference you have? Can you grow together in your similarities and differences? You want to be friends with people that will help you grow and help you elevate in life so that you don't feel stagnant, as we mentioned before. But you also want to feel like you have a mutual connection with them, because that's really important in being able to flow and have conversation with someone. So you do want similarities there, but differences are actually good too, because then you can teach each other things. So what is one thing that they know that you don't, that they can help you grow in? And what's one thing that you know that they don't, that you can help them grow in? This will keep the friendship alive, fruitful, and more fun. And finally, do you feel more energetic or less energetic after your time with them? At the end of the day, you want to feel better after spending time with people who are optional in your life. So take a look at how you felt after they left. Did you feel happier, better? Did you have more fun, learn something? Did you laugh? That's a really good way to tell if you're going to enjoy the friendship. If you'd like more journal prompts, there are 3 more in the guide that's in the description, and there are also sections for you to write out your answers if you'd like to write it out on a tablet, an iPad, or print it out and have a handwritten copy. So you're welcome to do that. And that's it for today, guys. And remember, you're an amazing person that has great thoughts that need to be heard by others. Funny jokes that need to be told so others can laugh. and amazing emotions that need to be expressed and felt by people around you. You just need to take the simple steps that we discussed in this video to create it, so you can be surrounded by connections that you love. You can do it. It's a pleasure to have shared this small portion of your journey with you.